Welcome to the Robotics Through Science Fiction podcast. I'm Dr. Robin Murphy, and we have 8 recommendations for fantasy and steampunk books and stories. Of course, fantasy and steampunk seems like the antithesis of robotics and hard science, right? With mysteries and incantations vying with logic and numbers. But a mashup can work quite nicely, thank you. So here are 6 books or series and 2 short stories that are standouts, with 3 of the books and 2 of the short stories integrating real robotic science in surprising ways, and 3 other of the books are more of the romance type, but could start a discussion of robotics with a young adult. So let's start with the 3 books or series that incorporate aspects of real robotics. First up is The Alchemy Wars by Tregilis. It's a 3-book set series. It's set in an alternative universe where Christian Huygens creates robots, giving the Netherlands the economic edge over France and pretty much the entire world. The Dutch, as Calvinists, see robots as mere machines and predestined for nothing more than servitude. The French, as Catholics, see the robots as having souls and being enslaved. War big time over this. Anyway, 200 years later, the robot protagonist Jax is able to escape and the adventure begins. Besides a thoughtful take on the ethics and metaphysics of robot intelligence, there's some nice riffs on rule-based implementations and why they tend to fail in real life. Great book. Clockwork Dynasty by Daniel H. Wilson. Now, this is somewhat of a departure from Wilson's factional technical thrillers such as Robopocalypse. Instead of Christian Huygens creating robots and exploring an alternative universe with the Netherlands and France, we have Peter the Great resurrecting ancient robots, automats, which might have originated in China. So the book is rumored to be being made into a movie, but don't wait. Let's read this now. It's a great insights into the history of real automatons. The Prey of Gods by Nikki Drayton. It proves that fantasy doesn't have to be an alternative universe fret with fighting and depressing geopolitics. It can be 20 minutes into the future and rolling on the floor funny. You will definitely want Clever 4-1 as your minion, even if you don't have a pantheon of South African gods going after you. The book also touches on topics such as robots having emotions, particularly one that holds a grudge. 3 other robot fantasy books or series have much less call out to real science, but they do have the typical young adult themes of strong young women going through the buildings remnant of dealing with loss, going on some sort of journey or quest, facing tough choices, reaching maturity. But they do have the added bonus of having dreamy romances. Could make for a great guilty pleasure or a lovely gift to a teenage girl. The Lunar Chronicles by Marissa Meyer is good. It starts with Cinder. The book imagines what if Cinderella was a cyborg and lost her foot, not her shoe, at the ball. Meyer's best-selling young adult offers is a novel take on the retelling of the classic fairy tale. And every time you think you know how the story will play out, Meyer puts in a Brandon Sanderson-worthy zig or zag. Just not a zig or zag to actual science. Heart of Iron and Soul of Stars by Ashley Poston is a young adult girl meets robot romance series. Like Cinder, it takes a familiar tale, in this case Anastasia the Russian princess, and cleverly upends the expectation and tropes. It's a guilty pleasure for a STEM girl, but there's no real teachable moments. The Alchemy of Stone by Ekaterina Sadea. An emancipated female steampunkish android seeks to use alchemy to free the gargoyles guarding a city. Whoa, doesn't that sound like a dreadful schoolgirl fantasy mashup? But it's a young adult tale with surprising and poignant twists and an unexpected ending that's well worth reading. Plus, there's a nice incorporation of issues and ethics. If you're into steampunk, Ted Chiang has two excellent stories showing off his background as a computer scientist. I mean, there are plenty of other great stories in his two collections where the topics range from the multiverse to aliens. Yeah, that science fiction movie, Arrival, is based on stories of your life. While not all are about robots, these stories deserve a hallowed spot in everyone's sci fi collection. 72 Letters, which is in the Stories of Your Life and Others collection, reconceptualizes the golem as a tape based Turing machine robot. You know, the word that you give the golem is actually a program. So it's combining real computer science with a Kabbalistic twist. Daisy's Patent Automatic Nanny and Exhalation Stories collection is a disturbing bon mot about a steampunk nanny. Ooh, what could go wrong there? Well, anyway, that's it for now. I hope this will be of use to you for your own reading or gift giving. And if you're looking for more books and movies with robots and some science, not just fantasy or steampunk, check out the list on our webpage. And please don't forget about my two edited anthologies, Robotics Through Science Fiction, Artificial Intelligence Explained Through 6 Classic Robot Short Stories, and Learn AI and Human Robot Interaction through Asimov's iRobot Stories.